evening. Welcome to Mitv Primetime News. I am Chumoke Michaels. In the news tonight, Vice President Kashim Shettima has reaffirmed the resolve of President Bola Tinubu's administration to continue empowering the Nigerian armed forces to overcome the nation's security challenges. Speaking on Friday at a special Jumat prayer held at the National Mosque, Abuja, to commemorate the 2026 Armed Forces Celebration and Remembrance Day, Shettima paid tribute to fallen soldiers who sacrificed their lives in defense of Nigeria's territorial integrity, as well as serving personnel across the armed forces and other security agencies. He noted that January 15 is observed annually to honor the armed forces of Nigeria, explaining that the event has been renamed Armed Forces Celebration and Remembrance Day to reflect its dual purpose of celebrating serving officers and remembering fallen heroes. The Vice President expressed optimism that under President Tinubu's leadership, Nigeria will witness lasting peace and prosperity, while offering prayers for divine forgiveness for departed servicemen and strength for their families. He also prayed for continued protection and empowerment of the armed forces to subdue the security crisis confronting the country.
Forgive the race of our deceased officers and men, and their families, the fortitude to bear the responsibilities, and we pray Almighty Allah to continue to protect and empower our forces to subdue the crises that are bedeviling our nation. And inshallah, in the fullness of time, we shall have an enduring.
The federal government is set to formally sign an agreement with the Academic Staff Union of Universities following weeks of negotiations. The development may be linked to the 40% salary increase for academic staff proposed by the federal government last month and accepted by the union. A circular issued by the Ministry of Education invited vice chancellors and registrars of federal universities to witness the signing ceremony scheduled for Wednesday, January 14, 2026 at 11 a.m. at the Tertiary Education Trust Fund Conference Hall, Abuja. The circular, dated January 5, 2026, and referenced FME/IS/UNI/ASU/C.11/Volume V/82, was signed by the Director of University Education, Rekia Iliasu, on behalf of the Minister of Education. It was titled, Invitation to the Ceremony for the Signing of Agreement between the Federal Government and the Academic Staff Union of Universities. The circular was cited by our correspondent on Saturday and confirmed by the Ministry's Director, Press and Public Relations, Boriowo Folashade. According to the circular, this signing represents a critical milestone in promoting industrial harmony and improving teaching and learning in our universities. The National Association of Resident Doctors at the University of Port Harcourt has joined its national body in demanding the full implementation of a Memorandum of Understanding signed with the federal government, threatening to resume nationwide strike despite a court order. The MOU, based on NARD's 19-point demands, addresses critical welfare, remuneration, and professional practice issues affecting resident doctors across Nigeria. Justice Emmanuel Sublimi of the National Industrial Court of Nigeria, Abuja, on Friday, issued an order restraining NARD and its members from embarking on the strike scheduled to commence on January 12. Justice Sublimi ruled on a motion ex parte filed by the federal government of Nigeria and the Attorney General of the Federation following submissions by the Director of Civil Litigation at the Federal Ministry of Justice, Maimuna Lami Shiru, who led a team of ministry lawyers in moving the motion. However, at a press briefing in Port Harcourt, NAD Uniport President Dr. Ezine Kalu said the union had previously suspended its strike in November 2025, trusting that the federal government would implement the MOU. The federal government has described the 7th Exia Route project, a major evacuation corridor linking the Lekki Deep Sea Port Corridor to Shagamu, Epe, and Ijebu, as critical to Lagos State's transport and logistics network. The 25-kilometer dual carriageway project was highlighted by the Minister of Works, Engineer David Umahi, during an inspection visit, where he disclosed that about 30% counterpart funding had already been paid by the federal government. He said the road is a key infrastructure designed to support port operations, the proposed international airport, and overall economic growth in Lagos State. Umahi stressed that sand filling remains the most critical stage of the project and directed that all filling works must be completed before the onset of heavy rains in April. He added that concrete pavement is scheduled to commence in November. The minister also ordered the deployment of at least 90% of the required equipment to the project site, noting that the road, valued at about 266 billion naira, will significantly enhance port evacuation and support the proposed Lagos State International Airport. He reiterated President Bola Tinubu's commitment to the completion of major road infrastructure projects across the country's 6 geopolitical zones. Earlier, project engineers confirmed that the contractor had fully mobilized the site, cleared sections of the alignment, and commenced soil preparation. They added that both swampy and dryland segments have been identified along the route.
Yes, we are terribly being challenged because of the realignment that we have encountered. What we are witnessing is, kilometer 34 has nothing to compare with what we had in kilometer 20, where we had a pit of over 25 meters deep, and High Tech was able to remove them and then loaded them with lumps and sharp sand. And they will be monitoring the settlement, which I think about 95% we've achieved, good level of confidence to start CRCP. So again and again, I continue to thank High Tech, and I invite all the critics of Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway to come and enjoy. Lagosians and Nigerians have been enjoying the road, and I have seen the reason behind the dreams of over 27 years back by President Bola Tinubu. And so I commend you very, very highly. I welcome the timetable by the end of the month to see how we align to full completion by the end of April. We come again next month.
We have left in between because we have dredged here and there from 34 to 37, 38. We still have a maximum of 1.5 kilometers of water to be dredged. We are encountering a little bit of additional peat areas. We are removing it, and the dredging operation is ongoing in order to fast track the process. And whenever we finalize and we push the sand on top of water level, we are continuing with sharp sand as well as stone base, Your Excellency. So we are looking towards the end of this month to finalize everything. We hope that everything will be to your satisfaction, Your Excellency.
Former Speaker of the House of Representatives and Senator representing Sokoto South, Aminu Tambuwal, on Saturday warned that Nigeria has drifted dangerously off course and now requires urgent national rescue anchored on honest leadership, responsible governance, and unity of purpose. Tambuwal spoke at a leadership colloquium held to mark his 60th birthday. Reflecting on Nigeria's democratic journey, Tambuwal said the country's present condition represents a painful departure from the hopes and expectations that greeted the return to civil rule, arguing that recovery can only begin when Nigerians confront the failures in governance. Tambuwal cautioned that national renewal must transcend personal ambition, ethnic sentiment, and party politics, warning against political practices that weaken institutions and undermine democratic growth. Tambuwal also declared his readiness to take greater personal risk in defense of democracy and national renewal. The Lagos State Governors Advisory Council, GAC, has admonished members of the All Progressives Congress, APC, in the state to actively participate in the party's ongoing electronic registration exercise. The Secretary of the GAC, Mitv, made the call on Saturday while speaking at the third empowerment program of the Sanwo-Olu Ambassadors for Tinubu 2027. He described the nationwide APC e-registration exercise as a civic responsibility and a key instrument for ensuring genuine party membership in Lagos State. Are particularly encouraged young people to take advantage of the exercise to formally identify with the ruling party. Also speaking, the Lagos State Commissioner for Youth and Social Development, Mobolaji Ogunlende, said the e-registration exercise, scheduled to run throughout January, is aimed at enabling both existing and new APC members to validate their membership through the party's digital platform. Earlier, the Director General of the Sanwo-Olu Ambassadors for Tinubu 2027, Hajiya Tai Elemosho, disclosed that the empowerment program will benefit more than 500 people.
What we are advising them to do, yes, they can have an activist group like this promoting our party. But being a politician, I say, party must come first. They should go and register. Their number, I've seen their platform, they are more than this. And if every one of them bring 2 or 3 members, they're going to multiply. They should endeavor to be more active in party activities, more than grouping. But I still believe what they are doing it in the right way.
We are all expected to come out en masse to register with the APC. Why we're emphasizing on this is because in anything we want to do, you must first of all have your voter's card, and that is when your voice can be heard. And then it's also advisable to belong to a party, whether you are participating fully or you just want to be a member to contribute in any way, shape or form. It is very important, it is essential, and we must take advantage of this window that we have. Without doing this, we would not be able to contribute effectively to the party. And like I said earlier on, the major benefits many of us are gaining today is because the APC is in power. If the APC is not in power, or if the APC is not on seat, a lot of the benefits that we, people like myself, have benefited, all of the 500 of us that are here benefiting today, we will not be able to benefit from it. So to continue to enjoy the fruits of our labor, to continue to enjoy these benefits, to continue to contribute meaningfully to the community and to our people, then we must encourage ourselves to come out en masse to complete this registration.
We are giving 300 members palliatives, grinding machine, a sewing machine, stoning machine, burners, different items, rice, oil, just to appreciate them. So today, about 500 or 550 members are going to benefit from what we are going to share. Our solidarity for President Tinubu for a second term. Today also, at least you saw the message, the write-up, where we said we are appreciating Governor Sanwo-Olu. For the past 6 years, he has done so well. So we are appreciating Governor Sanwo-Olu today, and we are supporting Asiwaju for 2027, so that when it's time for election, he's going to win a landslide victory.
A Lagos-based forensic audit firm has accused the Osun State government of covering up an alleged annual payroll fraud amounting to 13.7 billion naira. following what it described as a comprehensive audit and verification exercise of the state civil and public service payroll. They made the allegation on Friday during a press briefing in Ikeja, Lagos. Addressing journalists, Barrister G.T. Ogunye alleged that the firm was awarded a contract by the Osun State government in April 2023 to conduct a statewide verification, validation, and re-engineering of the payroll covering civil servants, local government staff, teachers, employees of state-owned tertiary institutions, and pensioners. He said the contract signed in May 2023 mandated the firm to carry out physical and biometric verification of workers and pensioners, audit existing payroll records, and develop an automated payroll administration system for the state. Presenting its findings, the company claimed that while the state's payroll for January 2023 stood at 4.48 billion naira monthly for 37,455 staff and 17,918 pensioners, its audit reduced the genuine payroll figure to about 3.34 billion naira for 29,004 staff and the same number of pensioners. It alleged that 8,452 ghost workers were discovered on the payroll, leading to purported monthly savings of 1.4 billion naira and annual savings of 13.7 billion naira for the Osun State government. He further alleged that despite submitting its final audit report to Governor Ademola Adeleke in June 2024 and publicly presenting it in Osogbo in July 2024, the state government had neither implemented the recommendations nor paid its professional fees, contrary to the terms of the contract.
Mitv is using this press briefing to draw public attention to this grand payroll fraud going on in the public service of Osun State, and to call on the anti-corruption agencies, the FCC and the ICPC, to conduct independent investigation on the matter, not only to vindicate Sally Tibot, but also to prosecute and bring the perpetrators of the ongoing payroll fraud in Osun State to justice. After audit, the genuine Osun State payroll, mainstream and pensions crept down to 3,340,866,928 naira 26 kobo for the actual 29,004 staff and 17,918 pensioners, meaning that a total of 8,452 ghost but paid workers were added to the payroll bill.
A civil society organization, the Osun Mastermind, has demanded a public explanation from the Osun State House of Assembly over an alleged 2 billion naira expenses within 9 months. The executive director of the group, Professor Wasiu Oyedokun Ali, also charged the state government to conduct a total overhauling of the Osun Amotekun Corps in response to the security threat confronting the state. Mitv correspondent Jamil Omoniyi reports.
As 2026 begins, a leading civil society organization in Osun State and one of the prominent prayer groups in Nigeria, the Osun Mastermind has highlighted several issues demanding urgent attention at both the state and national level.
In the year 2025, we addressed the following critical issues, among others: subsidy removal and the attendant hardship, inflation, instability of foreign exchange rates. The 2026 election in Osun State never happened. Teacher recruitment, illegalities in processes of contract awards in Osun State.
Central to the issue raised was the uncompleted projects by the Osun State House of Assembly, despite what the group described as substantial financial expenditure.
As of the end of Q3 2025, the Osun State House of Assembly had expended over 2 billion naira Our question then, as we act again now, is what responsibilities could have got over 2 billion naira in 9 months? Till date, the 50 projects that the Assembly is undertaking have been abandoned.
Against the backdrop of the tragic incident involving operatives of the Amatekun Corps, in which 4 residents were killed in Akinlalo community, among other allegations of abuse of office by the commander of the Corps, Adekunle Omoyele, Osun Mastermind is appealing for the total overhaul of the state security apparatus in response to the security threat confronting the state.
We're warning that Omoyele should not have been appointed as the head of Amatekun, because once you want a fish to rot, cut off the head or let the head be poisoned. So there should be a total overhaul, beginning with removal of the present leadership, replacing them with competent hands, and then overhauling the system before we even talk of recruitment. Let it be on record that we are warning again now. Our prayer is that insecurity will not become the order of the day in Osun State.
They appeal to the state government not to take for granted the vulnerability of Osun as a neighbor to Kwara and Ekiti State.
Like he said, it is our hope, our prayer. But beyond that, our position is that Amatekun should be reorganized for efficiency and effectiveness. I mean, considering where we are the next to Ekiti, where there have been incidences. And then we are next to Kwara, where there's also been. So Osun is already almost in the net. And again, we have seen incursion into Osun by the kidnap of the retired custom officer in Ora. And so it's no longer that Osumawa, it is now that it is here with us.
The group lauded the federal government for its effort at